Ona tatou te mene wa tolu sefulu valu minuti o te neli tulai valu morelei te au. Malo lava leva, malo le fia, mafuta mai foi le tatou wala leo le valu fitu te si malilima. Well, just as promised, we have our special guest here in the studio for our Food for Thought talkback this morning. The team over there at SAFPROM. I'd like to say a big good morning, Talanoaga, and welcoming Tupa'i Saleimoa Vaai to the show. Good morning, sir.
Talanoaga, ia fatalo foi le paia malu tatou totonu. Po fera val tafa lo fa penana mo mele ne polokalame. I would like to wish you a very good morning and a very happy day for everybody.
Well, welcome back. I heard you just came from the big island of Savaii. Busy yellow schedule.
Yeah, as always, we're mostly based in Savaii. But,
Yeah.
You know, we try and come over back. If I am so easy, I point me to. I point me out now. Taua le motu ya. Papenale no me moteli ni tumua.
Of course, guys, if you don't know, Tupa'i Saleimoa is the Managing Director of the Vaimoana Hotel in Nassau, President of the Samoa Hotel Association and the Samoa Tourism Authority, Savai'i Samoa Tourism Association, and of course, the exporter for Savai'i Koko. I heard that Savai'i was quite successful for the passing month of le tanga palolo.
So, you know, palolo is always a big thing for Savai'i. It's a big event. It brings a lot of people to Savai'i. And we're hoping that as we push along with our events, that we have bigger and better events for Savai'i and hopefully Pololo next year.
Yeah.
And we get a lot more people to come over and visit families. And of course, seek the covenant fish of Pololo as we all, everybody craves for.
That's right. Because the prices, kikivaya ko on Facebook, makeki online, it's just going up. Sa olele. But of course, for this month of November, lefa pela fatali leisi tanga palolo, and Savai'i's always been a favorite. Everybody wants to head over. How was it over there at Vaimoana with the palolo season?
Good. We had a lot of visitors every year. We always expect a lot of visitors to Vaimoana. This year as well. So even this month, we will for sure have people going Leia Masao Salo. And as well, we'll be having a fishing tournament over there next week.
Okay.
So we have the Asau Classic going on in over on the Big Island. I think we've got about a lot of boats, about 16 boats visiting.
Yeah.
And hopefully we kickstart the fishing for just before the end of the year.
That's nice. Because that's the goal, to bring more people to the big island of Savai'i. Because in Mele, sometimes Savai'i, but Savai'i is the real paradise.
Yeah. As we say to a lot of people who visit us, especially our overseas tourists, if you haven't been to Savai'i, then you haven't been to Samoa.
That's right. You got to go.
Complete later was in Samoa. And you know, you see the big difference between Polo and Savai'i.
Yeah.
Just the slower pace. You know, everybody takes their time, a lot more relaxed.
Yeah.
If you really want to get away from everything, go to Savai'i.
Go to Savai'i. Go to Vaimoana. Of course, our talk back this morning is about Savai'i Koko. A little backstory on that. In addition to carrying on a long and rich family legacy in cocoa cultivation and processing, Tupa'i has become a leading figure and a driving force behind the revival and the strengthening of cocoa industry in Samoa for over the last decade. Since 2014, Savai'i Koko's ongoing partnership with Whittaker's Chocolate in New Zealand has made many positive social impacts to the livelihoods of cocoa growers and their families, especially in Savai'i, through the Whittaker's Cocoa Improvement Program. How was it discovering this when you made the deal with Whittaker? Because, of course, you're saying that demand for cocoa in Samoa, but people tend to be cocoa Samoa, not like back in the day. It was like a main produce that we used to sell.
One thing about Samoan is we actually adopted cocoa as our traditional drink.
Okay.
Everywhere else in the Pacific, in the world, everybody produces it for commercial purposes.
Yeah. Yeah.
We adopted it as our traditional drink. So per capita, I think Samoa has the highest consumption in terms of cocoa.
Oh, wow.
Because we adopted Cocoa Samoa as cocoa as our traditional drink.
Yeah. And the 9 years partnership with Whittaker, how has that been?
It's good. When the father passed along the farm to myself and my cousin as the family.
Yeah.
Because it is still a family farm. It was our great grandfather started it. and our grandfather took it over,
Yeah.
and the various sons move along. And so myself and my cousin Koloni,
Yeah.
our father sort of said, okay, now it's your turn. So we came along and we said, we looked at it and said, oh, man, we can't just sit around. It's costly. It's costing us too much.
Yeah.
We need to export it. So I went looking for a market, and I set my sights on Whitaker's. It's the closest. Everybody knows peanut slab.
Exactly.
If you go to New Zealand, if you don't bring back a peanut slab, you haven't been to New Zealand.
Exactly.
So I went to them, and at the time I saw them. They were advertising their fourth generation chocolate maker, and I just took the tagline with me. No, a fourth generation chocolate maker with a fourth generation cocoa farmer should make a beautiful chocolate. And as corny as it sounds, they loved it, and they took it on board, and that's how our partnership with Whitaker started. There was a few people who helped us along the way.
Yeah.
I had a good friend named Keith Budd, which really helped us establish that market. But when Whitaker's came on board, being such an ethical company, they looked at us and said, "Oh, how can we help you with what you're doing?" And at that point in time, there weren't too many people supplying us cocoa.
Yeah.
So we said to them, what we want to do is increase everybody's holdings. So they came to us and said, why don't we just do your farm and do a single estate? I said, no, let's go single origin. That way it's a whole country. And we took that, and they took that on board, and we're thankful to Whitaker's for that. And then they said to me, so what are you doing? I said, I'm just giving out free cocoa seedlings to everybody. If I need more people to grow cocoa.
That's right.
And they said, oh, we'll help you do that. And that's how our program and our partnership started. We just started giving out free cocoa. All we wanted to do was increase more people growing cocoa, increase their holdings, and that way it increases their income.
Yeah.
Because what was happening was people were having 2, 3, 4 trees, and then they want to maximize their income out of that.
Yeah.
So we said, no, grow laau.
Yeah.
You'll have a lot more income from
Exactly.
that than just the 3, 4, 5 trees you have next to your house.
The 3, 4, 5 is just for home consumption.
Home consumption.
But you know, when you go to the market, you gotta think big.
Well, when we started exporting, I think because we used to be in a local paste market.
Yeah.
And cocoa used to be 3 tala.
Yeah.
The most expensive will get about 5.
Yeah.
But as soon as we started exporting and the demand for cocoa came up higher and higher, now you can't find cocoa for less than 6 or 7.
Yeah, boleh kuih isi koko 5 kala.
And the highest it ever went was 25 tala.
Oh, wow.
And I bought one of those cocoa just for a demonstration.
Yeah. It also says here, Tupa'i, that quite the work for being heavily involved in mentoring the youth and women cocoa growers through targeted programs in the partnership with UNDP and the Samoa Chamber of Commerce.
Well, we see, I guess coming from such a rural area like us, especially to our south, there's not much in terms of commerce, apart from the tourism that's out there and the small businesses, family-run shops and stuff like that. We saw that agriculture has always been our strength.
True.
So we needed to encourage them and keep pushing our youths. We see a lot of the farmers that come to a lot of the workshops that we do are a lot older. So we said we had to retarget it and focus to the youth and to the women. It's hard when a lot of the work that a lot of our donor partners ask us is to separate them.
Yeah.
But as a Samoan families, we're a unit.
Yeah.
So you have the father, the mother, and the sons and all the children. They work as a unit. The old man and the son work the farm. But when it's time to dry, bring it over into the house, then the women take over.
Yeah.
But we've had to look at programs where we can get funding and assistance so that we can try and help out.
Yeah.
The interest in cocoa over the past, probably the last 5 years, has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And we've had to take on a lot of partners and again look at working with others to ensure that for us the main thing is about cocoa. If anybody's bringing a program that's going to help increase the knowledge of our farmers, increase their holdings, increase with their production, then we're all for it.
Yeah.
And we're very thankful for the stakeholders and some of the donor partners for coming on board. Because without it, and with most farmers, that's all they ask for is
Yeah.
So it's been good.
Yeah. I see that's one of the projects that you guys been working on, like amid COVID. Because when tourism went on lockdown, everybody started to turn to the land, and that was a big boost that people need to learn quickly. Well, one of
the things that I think is how to maximize our lands.
Okay.
Instead of everybody always trying to go big.
Yeah.
But if you maximize a 5-acre plot, man, you get a lot more production out of that than trying to go bigger and bigger. And then you have to lure that land. So it's with COVID, it ensured everybody started turning back to the land.
Yeah.
And even tourism had a project with MAF for the workers, second them to help them grow, especially with the cocoa. So we're very thankful that MAF took the initiative to try and focus on cocoa, because our main focus here is about cocoa.
Yeah.
For us, it's a generational tree. I'm a 4th generation still reaping the benefits of the trees that my grandfather and my father grew. And hopefully what I'm growing, the next generation will go with it.
That's right.
The hard thing about taro and other things, we need it. I'm not saying it's not good.
Yeah.
It's a crop that's there. But you always need to keep putting the effort in every 7 months as you harvest. You have to replant it. And I see a lot of farmers, young farmers, go that distance and then,
Faki loa.
So, but at least with the cocoa, if you get it growing, it will keep producing for you every year, in, year out, year in. And that's why our focus is, and that's why we feel that our long-term crops, like cocoa and coconut, we should invest in it. And that's our aim, and that's our push. Keep investing in cocoa.
The numbers are slowly rising, cocoa farmers in Samoa. Have there been many challenges that you're facing with the laau new farmers like coming along the way, or just maintaining Savai'i Koko?
In terms of knowledge, a lot of the older generation we're losing them.
Yeah.
But they're not passing on. And most of our older generation pushed their sons and daughters.
Yeah.
And that's where the mindset is at.
Yeah.
And then they forget about passing on the knowledge that is the farm.
Yeah.
And being cocoa, it needs a few dedicated skills like pruning, how to prune it properly, how to process the cocoa so that the quality that comes out is what's required for our export market. So that's the space we've been working in, to try and teach that space, pruning, so that your cocoa produces more, and to process it properly. There's so many theories around about cocoa maka, cocoa leme, but for an export market, we need what the exporter wants.
Yeah, that's the best of the best.
That's the best. They've done their work, they've done their research, so it's not about what we think is the best. It's about what the exporter wants.
That's right.
And that's the hard thing I'm trying to instill in people. Because if they're used to a certain way of producing it, a lot of the cocoa maka people who just fa'ala, and they said, a lot of how people want it. The amount of cocoa in Samoa, if we keep farming the way we are, we need to have export markets.
Yeah.
And there are export markets out there, and we are struggling to try and meet our export market. We have, not only with Whitakers, we have another market in Japan, and we have another market in Australia. And those markets, the challenge that we've been having is, as more interest come in, they keep cutting our supply chain.
Okay.
There's a lot of cocoa in Samoa, especially in Tuana'i, around Upolu, but whenever everybody looks for cocoa, they come out to our side of the island.
Yeah.
We tend to collect as well from the other Fasaraleanga, Tuatane, Salenga.
Yeah.
But everybody else that's very interested in cocoa always come to our particular supply chain.
That's
we
right.
just need to us out. Well, it is what it is, but the challenges is what you do. It's what you face in every supply chain, in every business, and we just weather it, wait for it to subside, and keep pushing through.
The last question that was sent through to Tupa'i for today is, it says, with the borders reopening and bringing in more opportunities and possibilities, what is in the pipelines for Savai'i Koko, and what is next for the cocoa industry as a whole?
I think Well, for us, we want to keep increasing our markets, and of course, the reason why we keep advocating for cocoa because it's a generational tree.
Yeah.
And with so much development and any new things happening in Samoa, at least you can grow a tree and just let it grow, and it'll keep producing for you. There is no reason why you can't work an office job and have a konga cocoa at the same time.
Exactly.
Because umakolo malosi, or even if something happens to that job, at least you still know you've got cocoa to go
Something
back
to back up.
but for us, we'll continue to keep moving forward, keep building our markets, because we wanna bring Samoan cocoa to the forefront.
Yes.
At the moment, there is a reputation for Samoan cocoa. It's a high flavoring, but it's not the most preferred.
Okay.
Simply because it takes a little bit of tinkering and working with it to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
The most used cocoa in the world is Koko Saleimoa.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So, and that's because it's produced in Africa. It's produced all the high producing countries in the world use the Koko Saleimoa.
Okay.
So hence all the chocolatiers that work with cocoa knows that particular variety.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But for the Samoan cocoa, it's completely different.
Yeah.
So we've got a very high flavoring, highly sought after cocoa beans, but it's not the run of the mill kind of bean. So it's what we discovered when we went to New Zealand for the chocolate show. A lot of people use Koko Saleimoa, the almanado. But for us, we want our Koko Samoa. E kero le a wakurore Koko Saleimoa silo mo komai.
Exactly.
It has that bitterness.
Yeah.
But it's...
Well, that's the required flavor of my fafo.
Yeah, and it's what's widely used.
Yeah.
So all the literature, all the recipes and all that, it's all on that koko leha, mai Ghana, and in Australia. La. So it's to do with the Pacific. So Solomon's and those guys are a lot closer to Australia. So they use that bean a lot.
Yeah.
So the literature is there, and the formulas and the recipes are all there,
and
it makes it a lot easier to work with. But our bean, it takes a little bit for getting...
There's a love and caring.
We know it,
yeah.
because we can tell the difference between the two cocoa.
Yeah.
For us, so we want to eventually move into value adding.
Yeah.
And there's a lot in value adding here in Samoa. Hopefully, let's watch that space and see where it takes us.
Yeah.
But we want to keep increasing our international markets simply because we need space for our farmers to take their produce. And if we keep increasing and we keep encouraging our people to grow cocoa, we need to also make available markets for it.
Yeah.
And we'll keep developing these markets and keep maintaining them for the sake of our farmers.
Yes. That's right, guys. If you are a big fan of Koko Samoa, make sure you put in. It's quite the investment. It's a lot of caring, a lot of work, but it's gonna be very beneficial if we're gonna in the future. But you're a very busy man, Tupa'i. You're back for was it a function in Savai'i?
I'm actually here for the Labour Mobility Conference that's going on at the moment.
Okay.
As I said before, with the various developments around, especially around the RSC, which is a very hotly debated topic in Samoa, because we see the benefit of it, but we also see the damage and the challenges that we're facing as an economy and as business owners. To me, RSC is very beneficial for our people.
Yeah.
Because of that money coming in, and for our country, is very, very much needed. But at the same time, we also got to look at how our industries are facing, and how our businesses here are the challenges that they're facing with it.
True.
So we just got to find a balance.
That's right.
I think that's we can't just completely say, okay, let's cut it out. If you see the amount of development that's happened personally for a lot of families, so
it's quite high. Yeah,
it's quite high, and it's quite encouraging to see. These RSE go away, come back, build a house for their parents, and then the next thing, buy a car. You can work most of your lives out here if you don't go and loan from
the bank or
the bank.
Work 10 years.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not say it's not doable. It's just hard. It's but to go away 6 months, 8 months to 9 months, and then come back and do it, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
I think we just have to find a balance in terms of how we move it forward. Once you once you Ferol me koe role skupe.
Yeah, what's next?
Yeah, na tau sa mi amana mo tama langi fa mai ya talatoina. And our worry is that, you know, we want our people to find things to invest in.
So,
Start businesses.
yeah.
You know, because if you look at the rural areas, there's no townships there.
Mm.
You know, Levankau Finkako township where we have small businesses.
Yeah.
You know, Whaleokiulu or, you know, salons.
Car wash, yeah.
Car wash.
Yeah.
You know, and any other services that we have to find. Makoli to our sau whaialeme, you have to go Salulonga.
O mai sa'o kaulanga, yeah.
My South Kaulanga. Why aren't we, now that with the amount of money that's coming back from RSC, let's not all just spend it on
just food,
food. Because on consumption, it doesn't help our country.
Yeah.
But sa ili poani si me faina investi ai ton. E vai pere te ma fa fesiska ko valele ai ko me investi ka ka ko.
Pe vai siska ko waf.
Ko fesiska ko. It's just ideas, but it's something that we have to think about as well with the program with the RSC. We also got to hold our partners, our stakeholders accountable. They have to come back, you know, investment because they're taking the bulk and the strength of our youth. Yeah. We also need to train up the next lot that's coming up.
That's right.
And we need to ask Australia and New Zealand to invest more to help us train our younger people coming up. Yeah. Build so we have better schools. So that when they come out of there, they got better English.
That's right.
Better vocational skills, you know, practical skills that they can use. Rather than, you know, or they're taking our labor and not helping us enough in terms of rebuilding that workforce. Yeah. Those are just my thoughts. They're a very personal one. Yeah. But to see the development that comes out of the program, it's something that needs to be nurtured properly and to find that balance. So that's why I'm here in the Polo at the moment to attend that conference. And hopefully we'll bring some good outcomes out of it.
Yes. Well, all the best for the conference, and thank you very much for your inputs, Lenei. That's very crucial what we were talking about. People starting to think about investments, giving back to the Samoan communities. Because you got nowhere to spend the money.
I think that's one thing as well that we have to look at as a government. They also need to look at what people can invest in. Yeah. Give them pathways whereby, okay, instead of You've got UTOS out there.
Exactly.
But, you know, we've also got to bring investments that build something in the economy. And as we know, building that economy, we can't just keep spending it on eating because all our food comes out are imported. Yeah. Apart from what we produce locally, which is our fruits, our
vegetables.
So if we are starting to invest in chicken houses and stuff like that, if I say pathway, invest just something, you know, so that our people know that it's just ideas that you spitball when you think about these things, and you see all these youths. You don't want them to come back. Yeah. Find a pathway to put their money in, invest in it. Investment. Just some ideas, spitballing. For just bringing it up. I know it's completely off our topic, but it's not quite completely off our topic. Exactly. Because if you do look at a lot of the farms, that is their priority. Yeah. And we feel for them because they see the benefits from other families. But at the same time, we also see that yes. So yeah. With the cocoa, aula. Yeah, it's just
Faftai lava tupa'i mole Talanoaga Lenei Mana ia lava Talanoaga about Savai'i Koko, and of course nisi for poloketi that the government is working on, and some information to help out the public. Well, all the best for today, the conference. Manuia lava toi foi le motu tele Salafai.
Faftai Savai'i mole foi nganga faftai le tatou totonu. La foi se ngana pa o vale pe pa o papa se falongolongo le tatou totonu. Ia malu fale o tau finangalo. Ia tau manuia fuanga, manuia Samoa, so